I'm gonna see how it does here going into the parking lot. I feel like it still has issues going into parking lots, and I'm not sure why. There we go. Okay, that one was good. It's deciding to go take this route. It'll be a different route from what I'm used to taking. Going through a parking lot. This is gonna be kind of tricky to get out of. Let's see how it handles. There's a cone in the middle of the street, and the Cybertruck went around it. It's like a huge pothole right there. And it seems like we have a stopped car ahead of us. And it did a good job of detecting that. Not sure what's going on there, but let's see how it does. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. Turning left blinker on. Yeah, like that's just a weird design. And we're gonna go straight. Okay, yeah. See, I'm even confused. I don't even know how to handle that whole thing. I don't normally drive through here, but it did a better job than I would. Alright, so Cybertruck might be... Did we go on the right? Okay, I don't even know where we're supposed to go. There's 3 different splits here, and I think Cybertruck picked the right one. See, that's another scenario when I'm looking at the GPS, and I still don't know which one to go in. So it's gonna have to exit the express lanes, and it's gonna have to make its way all the way to the right side to then make an exit. So it's gonna cut about 4 or 5 lanes. You know, city driving normally, like I remember when I started to drive, it would get me very nervous because all the one-way roads, and there's just so much going on at the same time. A lot of people, a lot of cars. I don't understand why the wiper keeps going when it's, I don't know. The auto wiper is just not the best in my opinion. This guy's crossing and the Cybertruck stopped. All right. Here we go. Great job getting to the highway. Here we go. So we are on FSD version 13.2.4 for the Cybertruck. We just got it today, and this is our first impression. So we're going to see a couple of things that are different. I am currently going to get a haircut, so we're gonna go ahead and put in the address for that, and we'll see how it does. So normally it does get us out of the driveway. Sometimes it exits through the gate correctly, and sometimes it keeps going straight. So we'll see how it does this time, and we'll see if there's any improvements on that. Already I can see that it's a little bit better, because normally I would have to give it a little push for it to go. This time it's doing everything from the get-go. Now it doesn't see these gates normally whenever they're there, and I still don't, it seems like it still doesn't see it. It's kind of hard to tell on this gate, but I know that in other gates, whenever it's just that arm coming down, it doesn't see it. At least in the previous version. So we'll test that out in a different video and see if it actually has been fixed, since we won't be encountering any more of those on this trip. We did get a new windshield wiper, so if you want to know how to change the windshield wiper on the Cybertruck, watch that video that I posted on my channel. I believe it was the last one. It's a short video, so it's only a minute long. Try to make it as fast as possible for you guys to be able to quickly see how to change the windshield wiper. So here it's gonna have to get off of this express lane. So it's gonna have to exit the express lanes, and it's gonna have to make its way all the way to the right side to then make an exit. So it's gonna cut about 4 or 5 lanes, maybe 6 lanes actually, in order to get into the exit that we need to be on. Just for visual purposes, this is what it's gonna look like. So we're gonna have to get off all the way. Oh, it's telling me to pay attention. Alright, so that's what it looks like, and we're gonna see how it does here. So it's starting to make its way over. We do have a good amount of traffic here as well, so we're just gonna have to cut through some people to make it. It's gonna have to be a little bit assertive when changing lanes. Otherwise it won't make it. Have a lot of stop traffic coming up on the right lanes. Alright, making first change lane. Has to keep going all the way to the right. This truck is slowing down. Gonna get in front of that truck. Good, we need about 2 more lanes to go. So it needs to speed up or slow down for us to get into a gap. Decided to slow down. Get behind this Acura. And 1 more change of lanes. And it's gonna decide to go in front of this truck. So basically just like any human would do in this situation. And it did it very smoothly, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. I think if you were as a passenger, it just feels very natural. And that can get pretty tricky there, but Cybertruck has handled it well here with 13.2.4. And just for context, I did just change the route to make a right at the next light instead of that light, just because from my experience that I feel like that's an easier route, better route to get to this destination. Otherwise you have to go around. This route is just better overall, and I don't want to waste time going the other route because my appointment is at 11 and it's already 10:56, which is actually it actually made it in good time, not slow at all. It also helped that we got in the express lane. Alright, so we made it to our destination. I did have to stop it because it doesn't know that it can go through here. So I was trying to go on the main streets, but we're going to continue the video after I get my haircut here in the next one. Alright, here we go. Leaving Chase Bank, going to downtown Miami. I forgot to start the camera, so I had to stop the car. So we're heading from the route to downtown. We're going to face a lot of different scenarios, city driving and highway driving. And we are on FSD version 13.2.4. Here we go. I normally don't drive through these areas, so it's going to be probably a lot of different scenarios that I'm not used to myself. And I know it can get pretty crazy. We're about to hit 2 p.m. so we'll hit a good amount of traffic, and it's also on a rainy day, which also adds another variable to keep account of. Alright, so I decided to change lanes to get on this faster lane. It noticed that all those cars were waiting there just to turn onto the turning lane, so it moved over to a different lane. And it seems like we have a stopped car ahead of us. And it did a good job of detecting that. Not sure what's going on there. This is a very tricky intersection. It's a very odd design for an intersection. But the Cybertruck did a good job at when it turned in the last turn, it actually knew to get onto the left lane. So the lane on the left here. And because we are going to be making a left after the light. Now what's weird about this whole intersection design is that we're going to, there's lanes on the right and then there's lanes on the left under the bridge, but instead of going on the right lanes, we're going to the left lanes. Oncoming traffic is coming from the right lanes, which is not normal. I mean, I'm assuming the Cybertruck will be able to handle that and know what to do based on just everything around us, but let's see how it does. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. Turning left blinker on. Yeah, like that's just a weird design. And we're gonna go straight. Okay, yeah. See, I'm even confused. I don't even know how to handle that whole thing. I don't normally drive through here, but it did a better job than I would. That was just very confusing, but it handled it perfectly. I don't think I've ever driven through there, actually. I'm just driving on full self-driving newest version for Cybertruck, which is the 13.2.4, and I am doing a bunch of errands on my day off. So it's first time driving on it and first time doing, and I'm doing it on my day off. So I'm doing a bunch of random drives to appointments where I normally don't drive. It's pretty interesting to see everything and seeing how it handles it. And so far it's driven through a lot of areas better than I would have, just because it knows where to go, unlike me, who's never driven through those areas before. The GPS can look pretty confusing when you're trying to figure out where to go and you don't know how to get around those streets. And we do have it on hurry mode, so it's avoiding all the slow lanes, as you can tell from right now when it switched over to this lane on the left. And there's a lot of construction coming up. This highway has been having a lot of construction closer to the downtown area, so I want to see how it handles that. The streets have been changing here in the past month or two a lot, so let's see how it does. As you can tell here, there's a lot of construction going on, and there's going to be a whole new ramp that is being added to this highway. So, like I said before, these highways are constantly changing, and there is no way that a Waymo would be able to figure all that out with pre-mapping. It's just too fast of a change on the roads here in Miami, and it's probably why we don't see any Waymos here. There's always construction in Miami, and if you're doing pre-map and LiDAR, it's just not gonna work long term. Maybe it's good for maybe like a block or two, or like around your little neighborhood, you know, but it's not gonna be good for a wider range, like the Tesla approach, which is AI, full vision. You know, it's just the way it is. And for those who don't live in big cities, maybe it's hard to wrap your head around that, but I mean, I would assume that it's pretty much common sense. But I understand why Google is doing what they're doing. It's the easiest way to get a product to market, and they wanted to be first. And from what I've heard, it works great. But financially, as an investor, I don't think I would want to be invested in that one over Tesla. That's for sure. It'll be exciting to see how it drives through here once these new highway streets are built. Alright, we are changing lanes and we have cars merging from the right lane to the left as well. So we're gonna have to let this car in or not let him in. I don't know what we're doing. See what the Cybertruck decides to do. It's trying to change lanes. Oh man. This is a merge. It's not. Okay. I guess everybody thought it was a merge. Interesting. Alright, so Cybertruck might be... Did we go on the right? Okay, I don't even know where we're supposed to go. There's 3 different splits here, and I think Cybertruck picked the right one. See, that's another scenario when I'm looking at the GPS and I still don't know which one to go in. It just shows you how confusing it is for people who are not like constantly driving through these roads to know which road to go on. And if you've never driven through here and you're looking at your GPS and you're trying to figure out which road, and then it's a split decision. So, you know, a split second decision where you have to decide, do you go in the middle one, the right one, or the left one? And if you pick the wrong one and now you're trying to change lanes at the very last minute, what some people do is they actually stop, and that's what causes accidents. If you hesitate and stop while you're going through that at that speed, you're gonna cause an accident. So it's just another situation where I see why an autonomous vehicle is just way better than a human, because I've seen it so many times, and I hate when people stop in the middle of the road because they don't want to reroute, so they rather stop in the middle of the road and figure out which lane to go in, instead of just, you know, maybe you pick the wrong lane, you're just gonna have to like reroute, and you end up having to drive for an extra 15 minutes, and it sucks. But you know, you should do that over causing an accident on the highway. So anyway, that's my little spiel on that, because I see it happen so often, and I've gotten brake checked so many times because of people doing that. So great job, Tesla. Let's pull up the map. Yeah, perfect. Honestly, best drive so far. It's driven way better than I would have. Very confident. These are not easy drives, guys. If you're not from Miami, I can guarantee you at some point you would have made a mistake if that was your first time driving that. I live here and I still would have made a mistake. Here we go. So now we're going to be in the city. This is where it gets even trickier because there's a lot of one-way roads, and I believe we have to go into a parking garage. Cybertruck are not going to parking garages yet, but you know, we just wanted to get to the destination. That's the goal here. I'm turning off the wipers because they're getting annoying. This is a quick yield, and it sees all the cars. He has a pretty good view of where all the cars are. There's the bus here. There we go, downtown Miami. Alright, and we're changing lanes a block ahead, which is good. So stopped car on the right lane here. It saw it. Alright, perfect. And after this turn, we've made it to our destination. We haven't touched any controls aside from the wipers. So great job. Honestly, probably the best drive I've had. Very impressed. I could not think of harder scenarios to put it in. It did, you know, some very difficult scenarios on the highway, some very difficult scenarios on city driving. You know, city driving normally, like I remember when I started to drive, it would get me very nervous because all the one-way roads, and there's just so much going on at the same time. A lot of people, a lot of cars. You know, it's difficult, but the Cybertruck did great, and we're gonna go ahead and park the vehicle. Stop recording. All right, here we go. So let me just put the address actually. Right now we don't have, let's go home first. So this starts navigating the correct way. I don't understand why the wiper keeps going when it's, I don't know. The auto wiper is just not the best in my opinion. This guy's crossing and the Cybertruck stopped. There's a cone in the middle of the street and the Cybertruck went around it. It's like a huge pothole right there. Alright, here we go. Great job getting to the highway. And let's see, from here, there's gonna be a lot of traffic. So I am gonna force it to get on the express lanes, but that's just because I really don't want to get stuck in the traffic. Should I? Yeah, I am. Or maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. It'll go through city streets if I don't. But it's gonna try to, it's just gonna be so many lights. Like the rerouting, I know that it's trying to take the route with the least amount of traffic, but that's just a lot of lights. And it ends up taking a lot longer than if you just go on the highway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna force it onto the express lane. And it's gonna have to stay on the express lane. The thing is, like, if it doesn't get on the express lane, yes, there's a lot of traffic if you don't get on the express lane, but if you get on the express lane, there's not as much traffic, and it's actually a faster route. I wish they give you an option to do that, but they don't. So I have to force it every time. Let's try to go back to the, like, fighting it. I have to disengage just to do it. Come on. Get on the left lane. Needed to stay on the left. Stay on the left. It's gonna continue to try to switch back. So I'm just gonna have to keep clicking the turning signal every time that it tries to. See, as you can tell, it turns the turning signal because it wants to move over to get on the next exit, but I'm not letting it do that. It seems like it's gonna want to do it anyway. It's getting confused. I really don't want it to. Nope. Alright, so I am disengaging not because it did anything wrong. I'm disengaging because I really don't want it to get off and make this drive a lot longer than it has to be. Yes, we're gonna hit some traffic on the express lane, but it's not what it's accounting for in the map. In the map, it's accounting for the traffic on I-95 that is on that side of the express lane. So this is a faster route, and this is a preferred route that I want. And I don't know how to turn off the rerouting. So we're gonna keep it like that. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's not a whole lot of rush hour, but that side of I-95 always has traffic. So yes, I do agree we're gonna get some traffic even on the express lane, but it's still not worth getting off and doing all the rerouting through like city driving with all the lights when you can just get on the express lane. I don't think that the GPS is really accounting for express lanes and just the regular highway, but the Cybertruck was not wrong for trying to avoid all this traffic. If you consider the fact that, you know, maybe you don't want to take the express lane, then yes, you're going to get stuck in that traffic and it's going to be horrible. In our case, we're not doing that. Like that Cybertruck. We're gonna have to force it out of the express lane because it still doesn't know how to do that on its own. So we have to make sure that it stays on this lane to get off the express lane. I like how it got in the correct lane way in advance, so it's giving itself enough time to get onto the ramp right here. So that was nice. It didn't wait until the last minute to do it. Oh, I guess it's not that exit. It's gonna be this exit. I believe you can take either or. Alright, and it's gonna have to make a left turn after this stop sign. This car is coming from both sides. Alright, it's gonna be a minute before we get cleared. Okay, can go after this car. Great. Okay, and it looks like we have almost made it to our destination once again. Just had to come to a Walgreens here, and we came all the way from downtown Miami, which has been about a 51-minute drive. It's been a long drive, but I did not touch anything. The only time I did intervene was just to force it to get onto the express lane in the highway. Outside of that, I did not touch any of the controls, and I didn't force it to do anything else differently. Everything else was on its own. I'm gonna see how it does here going into the parking lot. I feel like it still has issues going into parking lots, and I'm not sure why. There we go. Okay, that one was good. But sometimes when it's turning in, it just doesn't do the best job. There you have it, guys. Now I'm gonna go inside the Walgreens and we'll do the next drive going home. Okay, done at Walgreens. Let's head home. So deciding to go take this route. It'll be a different route from what I'm used to taking. Going through a parking lot. This is gonna be kind of tricky to get out of. Let's see how it handles. Okay, this person let us go, and doesn't look like we have anybody coming from the right, so we're good. Handled that pretty well. It's cutting through a lot of back roads to get there, so I think it's just trying to avoid all the traffic. And we're back at our destination, so another successful drive. I think that this is it. Full self-driving is here.